Hello everyone, this is Chris here from Virtual Computing. This is just going to be a quick introduction to a WordPress and Ubuntu tutorial series that I will be doing. I'll be including several things from how to set up your Ubuntu server, installing some other things such as a Virtual Ftp client or server on the machine, and then from that we'll be going on to the actual installation of WordPress and making sure it's running correctly so that it can install new themes as well as actually have the mod rewrite, which by default on Ubuntu isn't enabled. So this will be quite good for those of you who want to actually learn how to do your own website, as well as actually having it so you can have your WordPress website installed as well. This should include between 10 and 15 videos, so it's going to be quite a long series, but I'll make sure to have them all up by the time this one goes up, so you can go through them as fast or as slow as you want. If you're not wanting to listen to me yabber on, then there is actually a guide already up there, which I will show you now. So if you go over to virtualcomputing.com, and at the top you should see a menu. There is a button saying tutorials, so if you click that you should see the current page I'm on now. You'll see there are plenty of tutorials on here, which by the time you actually look at this it may be completely different. I might have uploaded another 100 or so guides, but it should be in the same layout and you should easily be able to find it here. If not, then you can do a search in here, but if you scroll down you should be able to see it there. The complete Ubuntu WordPress guide start to finish. There will also be a link in the description, and I'll make sure that everything's up there so you don't have to wait for anything. So if you click on there we can have a quick look through it and you can have a rough idea of what you'll be seeing during the series. So the first section will be setting a static IP address on your Ubuntu server. And another thing I should mention as well is I will be doing it on Ubuntu Desktop, but it will work on Ubuntu server as everything will be done through the terminal, and you can also follow the same procedure on here if you wanted to do it on Debian. So as I said, the first step will be setting up a static IP address. We'll then be making sure the server's up to date, which you will have to do on a regular basis just to make sure it's got all the current security updates and that all your packages are up to date. After that we'll be installing LAMP, which is the Linux Apache MySQL PHP, so that will be what you'll be using as your web server. You'll also be installing OpenSSH. This is so that we can connect to the server through using something like PuTTY. We will be using this a few times in here, and it's just the reason for that is for some parts of the guide you will have to write a hell of a lot. So if you're using PuTTY you can actually paste directly into the console, so you don't have to worry about making any mistakes. I will be doing this on a Windows 7 PC as well. That shouldn't affect you too much, but if you're on Linux then it's a bit different how you do some of the things. But I'm not going to go into that. If you're on Linux then you should really understand how it works. As well as that, we will be setting up Apache so that you can actually host more than one website on it. It might not be something you want to do on your own, but it is something that is very useful. So you can have several websites. You can have one for WordPress, you can have a backup one just in case, you can have a testing one, and they'll all be completely different and they will actually respond to the specific domain name that you type in. So if you go onto site1.com then it will show you one website, but if you go onto site2.com it will be a completely different website that don't affect each other. So as I said, it's quite useful, and it's a good thing to know how you do. The next step in the guide would be to enable mod rewrite and .htaccess. The reason for this is WordPress uses the htaccess file, so that when if you set up a WordPress to do so, that if you go to about, or for instance on here we're using Virtual Computing, so if you go to Virtual Computing /about, if you didn't have mod rewrite installed, it would just say page not found, blah blah blah. Whereas if you enable it in Apache, it means that it'll actually negotiate with WordPress and find out where that page is, and it is very useful to have it, and it also makes it look a lot more professional. As you can see from up here, this is using mod rewrite because it's actually got that extension there, whereas if you're doing it without it, it wouldn't work. Another thing where they're using it, or will be doing, is changing PHP's upload limit. So if you're uploading maybe a video to WordPress, unless you're doing it through FTP, you wouldn't be able to do it through PHP because I think there's a limit of 2 megabytes. So I'll be showing you how you can change it, and we'll be changing it to 25 meg, so you can upload as much as you need. Obviously you can change that if you want to set the limit to 100 meg or 100 gig or whatever. I wouldn't recommend it, but that's completely up to you. After that, we'll be installing PHP Myadmin. This is just so we've got a way of actually talking to the MySQL server rather than actually doing it all through the terminal. So it's a lot easier doing it that way than actually doing it through MySQL, and it's just the way that I'd recommend doing it. There are other videos that won't be in this series but are on the website and on YouTube of how you can actually secure PHP Myadmin, so it's a lot harder to get access to it if you don't know what you're doing, basically. There's also another video about doing the same thing with SSH, so it's not using the same port, and you can do the same with MySQL, which there are all videos on the website. So if you're wanting to know how you can do that, then just check out our website, you can find it on there. The other thing we'll be doing is installing Virtual Ftp. This is so that you can have multiple different accounts with their own directory on the server, so your WordPress site will have its own FTP account. It's quite important because when you actually have your WordPress site and you want to install a new theme, when you actually install it, it won't be able to get the package off the internet, so it needs to have its own Virtual Ftp account. Doesn't necessarily have to be a virtual account, but it's the way I'll be showing you how to do it. And after that, we'll be then going into the actual installation of WordPress. That's probably one of the simplest things that we go through, but it is definitely worth going through the other things just so that you know you've got everything that you need to. So that is it for this video. I said it was going to be a quick video, but it's been about 8 minutes already, but you've got it. I've gone through what you'll be seeing through the series, and you can follow the series through and do everything you need to, or if you don't want to do that and you just want to go to a specific section, then you can do so. So make sure you go through our videos and check out some of the other ones, as you'll find some other interesting, useful guides on there. And if you've got any problems, then feel free to comment below and I'll try and answer you the best way I can. And if I can't answer you, maybe some of my colleagues can as well. So we're always here to help. So I hope to see you again in the next video.